throwing energies, thinking of what happened to someone else, and all of a sudden, we start believing it can happen to us, and it does happen to us. And people in this community has been sharing stories about health issues that have, instantaneously or over months have just resolved, making it through those dark places. And I think it's time, what's coming up for me right now is, just as Linda said, that unity was based on faith in God and believing that there's a power greater than anything, and we're starting to find out it's within us, I believe. We're making this shift. What was keeping us from that is everything we think about in spiritual terms, we've been taught to put it in a physical form. So we create this being, this man sitting in the heavens on the throne in form. But as you begin to go in your heart and begin to see, what is that that's always with you, always? It's spiritual energy. It's divine energy. It's love, it's peace, it's joy. All that you could ever imagine is right there for you. And when we think of this God in heaven, so often we're begging for something. We're begging for our health. We're begging for that new car. We're begging for that right relationship. It's already been given to us. But if we're not going to that place within us, seeking the Spirit of God that lives within the temple of God, and so often I've said that Jesus taught us, he came, he's one of those beings just like us. Heresy, Elizabeth. That's horrible to say that, huh? No. He's a spiritual being. Spirit. Made in the image of God. Made in the likeness of God. God, that energy being, that consciousness that is without form, but it is all form. That makes sense. That just came out of my mouth. But it is, everything's connected. We're learning that in the quantum field, that all things comes from the source. And we can't see it with our natural eyes, but we can feel it. You can feel the joy, you can feel the peace. And how do you connect with that peace? Just breathe, right? I feel joy. Just breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe and let all the stress go. Just take in that spirit of the life of joy and peace. And knowing that there is no one making you stay in pain and suffering and anxiety and lack except ourselves. No, it's the circumstances out there, right? But how did those circumstances come into our life? You start digging deep enough, we start discovering it's the frequencies I give off. Jealousy of somebody that got something that you didn't get. Hate or bitterness. There are those feelings that come from a lower vibration. Am I making any sense? And this morning, Tony and I were giggling about things. I mean, we had fun reliving yesterday and different things. he was going to turn on our YouTube to hear something, but it happened to be my phone that he picked up. Well, I had curlers on my hair. And when he turned, I said, "Honey, you're not turning the right way." And even when he did, they didn't really recognize it. And he said, "It thinks you're an alien." So we started laughing. And about that time, my cup of coffee just went everywhere. And instead of getting upset, we found ourselves laughing about the whole thing. But what I got in that moment is we could have been really angry and upset. It's ruined our day. Look what happened. Da, 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 da. But there was so much fun and joy in that. We acknowledged that spilling that cup of coffee, but him doing what he did and everything. And it's like it awakened something. The joy in life. The joy in life is our strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Strength is the song that we sing here sometimes. The joy of the Lord is my strength. It's the living waters that I don't thirst when I've got that joy, that happiness, that peace. And the little things can bring you joy. It doesn't have to be that longing for something out there. But when we enjoy just going for a walk, or being with a friend, or having that cup of coffee that you don't spill on somebody, just being happy about something, it begins to energize something within us, I realize, that pushes those things that were bothering you maybe 10 or 15 minutes before away. But we're not recognizing the little things we can do to dissolve those things that keep us bound in consciousness. Just breathe. Just breathe. But right now we're seeing a great divide. And people living in fear and feeling like they're not safe to go into a church building or into the city or walk down their own street. There are people that have this and live with this anxiety. But when we're in that place to fear not, and we see that we don't see anything to fear, it's not there. It's like our mind, or however we're thinking, that's the frequency we draw. I know when I lived in Winston Salem, our son was about 17, 18, maybe 19, I don't know. But anyway, he was living with us. And he said, "Mom, don't go out at night and walk the dog after dark. Don't do that. You're going to get hurt." Say, "What? Me and my dog do fine. If he wants to go out at 2 in the morning, I'm going out at 2 in the morning. Nobody's out there except a couple of dogs." And I just walk it, maybe a quarter of a mile or whatever I want to do, come back home. Don't you know that there are drug dealers around here? There are. Don't you know that houses get broken into around here? They do. And as he got older and got out on his own, I don't know how many times somebody broke in his house, but nobody ever broke in ours. Then I learned later a house exploded a couple of blocks away from us because somebody was making something they shouldn't be making, and it took half the house off. But he believed that those things were happening. So he said, see, Mom, I told you. But as we begin to work on ourselves and begin to clear out that fear and know that God is always with us. God is always with us. When you start to walk somewhere or be somewhere, I believe you put off that energy of don't touch me. Don't come around me if you mean harm. Because I'm not going to harm you. And I don't expect you to harm me. I'm recalling a time that my son, he was on a religious path, and he was in California. And he wanted to go around and witness for God. and talk to people out on the streets. And it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And actually, I'd given him a cross from these all religions. And it was made, I think they're gold plated or something, back when I bought that. And he told me he wanted to wear it, and I told him he could have it. So he was there, and he called to let me know what happened. And the streets were dark everywhere, and he was trying to find a place where he could sit down and rest. And a whole gang started coming out of people, maybe about 12 or 14, and they gathered around him. And he talked with them and said, what do you want? They said, well, we want whatever you got there, but I want that necklace. I want that necklace. That's what I want. They all started, yeah. He said, you can't have this necklace. Mother gave it to him. They started laughing. And he said, no, can't have it. They said, you did know we're going to hurt you, and we're going to take that away from you. And he said, when I'm at his hand in his pocket, he said, I got a gun here. I think I can shoot you, take it. He said, well, you won't shoot me. And he said, why? He said, because it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, you're all high, you're roaming around because you sold whatever you had. Even if you had a gun, you got rid of it to get more drugs. And he said, no one here has a gun. And then they said that, well, we'll hurt you, we'll take it away from you. He said, well, you can hurt me all you want, but in doing so, you won't hurt me as much as you're hurting yourself. He said, look what you've already done to yourself tonight. And so, knowing what he knew about his life path, he began to spill out to them all the things that had been taken from him and had happened to him. And he said, you're in this very same place right now. And he was telling them how they could go get help. And people started crying. And he said they started walking away from him one by one. And nothing happened to him. Then he met a pro football player. But the kids would come over and he'd say, come on, I've got something for you. I don't know why I'm getting into all this. Maybe somebody listening on the YouTube. What group was he with? It was a guy he was with the Cowboys, a big player in California. And they started talking, and he said, those kids keep coming up to you. He said, yeah, a lot of times I take them home with me, and they know I always have something for them. And he said, well, how about you coming with me? And so he said, yeah. That was one of his favorite players. He said, you're sure right, I'd love to. And so he goes home with him, and he sees that what he gives to people was drugs. And my son started talking to him. And whatever he said, it touched his heart. And they had a sandwich this time. And they went to bed. And before they went to bed, that athlete felt he had to get rid of everything because all the lives that he was hurting, all the young people in town, they were buying drugs from him. So my son said he started going to the bathroom and flushing things down the drain. And then they went to bed and he thought, I need to sneak out of here. Because when he wakes up tomorrow morning and realizes what he's done, he's going to probably murder me. But he said he fell asleep and he didn't wake up until after the man was up fixing coffee. And he let him know he really appreciated him wandering in his life. He got in touch with him later and he said, I don't know what happened, But the kids here don't have any, we had lots of drug dealers around. And he said, I don't know where they all went. He said, they're not here. And my son said, well, you were the main one supplying it. He said, well, I never thought about that. He said, that's why they don't have it in your town anymore. And so I thought it was just a story he was telling me, you know. I wasn't sure about that. And so one day the telephone rang. And they were having, football, whatever it was. You can bring somebody to some kind of party that they have every couple of years or whatever. I don't know about football that well. What was it called, Tony?
It was like a reunion.
For the football players. And he said, you can bring a guest, and he said, I want you to go with me. So my son was invited to go with him to that reunion. And he said, why me? He said, because you changed my life. So we go in and out of places. But our frequency, when we're at our highest peak, in that place of joy, or wanting to help someone, just being there for someone, can make a fantastic difference for them. I guess I've been saying this, but I guess it's for me, speaking to myself too. I want to be there for you. I guess I feel there's so many people out there to do things, but we all have something to offer. And the main thing this was based on is healing. And I think it's time for some of us people that hold energy for others to come together and start doing that. My head says, but I've got a secret, but it's not really a secret. The ones of us that have seen miracles happen, it's not us doing it. It's that same Christed energy that's in every single one of you. Every single one of us has that seed of Christ within us. And as we let go of all those things of suffering and pain and start looking around and finding out every step I've been taking, no matter how bad it was perfect for me to learn something through it. It was the perfect thing to maybe lose that job so you'd go somewhere else, to make a different step somewhere else, to meet somebody else, to turn loose of this, to go to that. You were always going your path that you need to go in. And maybe you were making fun of somebody or something happening, and here you find yourself in the same place. And you're experiencing that pain you put on somebody else. Any of us ever done that? We're walking that we're trying to clear ourselves right now. Right here and this year, the next couple of years, so much is coming up that we're having to look in the mirror and see ourselves through somebody else. And the things we don't like, we may have hidden down deep in our gut. Don't know that it's in our heart. It feels like it's down deep in. That which longs for things to satisfy the flesh. But when we wake up to the truth, that we are spiritual beings longing to get back home, longing to get back into that place where we came from, that place of peace, that place of joy, that place of knowing that even though we're walking through the valleys of the shadow of death, there's no evil there. Because the divine presence is in us. When we really begin to experience those places, we're going to recognize what Jesus said, all that I am, you are too. And you think he came here as a baby that one lifetime? And 30-some years later, here he is, master of masters. My heart says no. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, walking the same path every single one of us has done. In and out of places, getting to know more about ourselves, till we come to this place now that we're starting to wake up. I mean, people have heard about waking up lately, or waking up to a higher consciousness. You've heard about that? That higher consciousness is that consciousness of the divine that's in you already. And like Sleeping Beauty, we fell asleep. And what are we waiting for? Oh, that magical love. That special kiss. That knowing that you're one with that being there. So often we think it's that human being out there we've been searching for. I've heard so many times, you're looking for my soulmate. Oh, this is my soulmate. No, I found out that wasn't my soulmate. I've got somebody else. You know, it's somebody else. Always that soulmate. Because right at first, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. But the soul of your soul is divinity within. It is love beyond love. When you begin to love yourself enough, thank you. Love yourself enough to not criticize yourself, to not put yourself down in any way, to take care of your body, your thoughts, your feelings, handle everything as if it was just a beautiful baby and you were looking after that one that is so innocent, so pure. That's you. That's you. I haven't said this. That's the Christ child in you. And it's getting ready to be born from within you. For that love and that light and that peace to no longer be hidden from what we think is going to destroy it. But it's that light, that eternal light of being. This is always you. That soul, that beauty. So it's time to prepare for this. Oh, the seasons are coming at a perfect time this year. Wow. We're in fall where we're going to let go, if we choose, of all the past, all the things that ever walked through our mind and heart that bring us pain and suffering. The past is the past. It's gone. The only way we think of it is when we go into the graveyard of the past and pull all that dead stuff up and begin to, I don't know if we feast on it or we do what with it, but it sure can mess you up when you think of some of the negative things in the past. But it's time to let it be gone and replace it with the joy. The joy of doing whatever it is out there that brings you happiness. Find those friends. Find those places that can energize you. But recognize it's not all about you. Because we were born to bring the light into the world. Each and every one of us. And to become who you truly are already. Just like Sleeping Beauty goes back to that castle. She goes back home, a princess. You are sons and daughters of the Most High God. until we just fell asleep and forgot it. Started dreaming a dream of pain and sorrow because we wanted to know what it was like to make our own choices, to create our own life. And we're returning back to that source. Not dying physically, but returning in consciousness of the power that's working in and through you to restore this planet, to love all that is into wholeness. This is a part of our mission. This is a part of a divine plan. So when you look out there and you think that politics and everything else and leaderships or whatever is destroying this place, begin to see it at a different level. All things that need to fall, Babylon is falling, is falling, is falling. The things that need to crumble and fall will crumble and fall. But know that you are safe. You are secure. That wherever you are, God is. Whatever, food, water, shelter, you'll find that those things are the things that we need for the physical form. And there we'll share it with each other. We're going back into a change. I feel like, or what I feel right now, that we'll be connected more and more with each other, and we do things for each other, not out of obligation. Nothing's out of obligation anymore when we step into this realm. It's all because we love each other. We love each other, and we support each other, and we help each other. Because one will be a piece of a puzzle, the other another piece of a puzzle, but as we begin to come together, it all fits together for a beautiful, beautiful world. And so then we'll be awakened to that place, or beginning to awaken, that during this whole, it seems like a dream, that when we wake up, we'll discover that we've always been standing on holy ground. If we just knew how to use our love, our thoughts, our actions, our words and deeds, those tools that came with us, those unseen tools, that we can create beauty wherever we go. Wherever you go, you are standing on holy ground. And so it is. I see nothing but beams of light here. Would anybody like to say something? Yeah. If I just fallen off the edge today, did it relate to you? Did you? In any way? It's time for all of us to start speaking our truth. We hide from each other. Halloween's coming up pretty soon. So let's take off our mask. Let's take off our mask so the true being that's within this form, these forms can be seen. And you all are beautiful beings, made for this day, made for this generation. I was promised by a vision, I guess it was, when somebody stood by my bed. I guess she was kneeling by my desire was to be like Jesus. But of course, nobody could be like Jesus. Well, when I was little, he told me I could be. And everything kept saying how that was impossible. So I finally decided I want to be as good as Mother. When I finally got to that point, whoever was impressing me from the inside out, or whatever, it didn't respond back. So I was happy, at least I could be as good as Mother. She served in the church, she played the piano, she did secretary or treasurer or something. So I was content. But then someone held my hand. It was a soft, feminine kind of sound within me said, hold all this in your heart, for in your generation you will see the manifestation of the sons and daughters of God. And to me, I believe every single one of you are going to be that manifestation of the sons and daughters of God. And I'm hearing within my heart, you already are. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember who you are. And so it is. The main thing that kept coming up for me, when you look back and what's keeping us held back, is fear. Tony was on his way to come get me because I couldn't find my keys. They happened to be in the car under the seat, but it fallen there. But I sat down and I wrote the word fear. And then I remember one of you, or some of you, have told me before, mentioned, that fear stands for false evidence appearing as real. It's not as it appears to be. It's pushing us into something better, folks. When it arrives, we can change it into that peace and joy, knowing the answer will come for you. If you'd like to close your eyes, I have several daily words. I'll just close with one of them, and then if you'd sing us another beautiful song to bring us all together after that. Just take a few deep breaths and feel that peace. Feel that stillness. In the stillness of prayer, we know peace. When the world feels chaotic and we long to return to the peace of God, we can know it in times of prayer, in times of stillness. It is a balm for my soul to leave busyness and obligations behind, and at that time just relax in the tranquility of prayer. Take a few deep breaths and just relax. Into that silence. And as we go within, our worldly concerns begin to fall away from us, along with any temptations to be puzzled over problems, or reminisce over revenge or worry, or even over the future. As we spend time in the silence, our thoughts begin to dissolve and our hearts open up. In this place of perfect stillness, There is only you and God. I'm being corrected. In this place of stillness, there is only God. For we touch that peace and perfection of spirit in prayer and in meditation. We carry that mindful connection with us. After a restful interlude with silence, we can return to our activities. The world may not have changed at all, but we have. We have, and we go forward to meet life with poised equilibrium and calm confidence. Psalms 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. Thank you, loving Creator. May we awaken to that place of knowing we are standing wherever we stand. We are truly standing on holy ground.